Now, Mr. and Mrs. North, brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. Mr. and Mrs. North, transcribed, starring Barbara Britton and Richard Denning. Listen to Pam and Jerry in Chapter 1 of the mystery, Nightwalk.
Hello?
Dr. Prescott?
Yes, this is Dr. Prescott.
This is Wade Hatton, Doctor.
Wade Hatton? Oh, yes, Laura Hatton's husband.
Oh, don't you remember my wife, Doctor?
Of course, the psychiatrist seldom forgets his former patient.
I have to see you, Doctor, right now, tonight.
It's rather late, Mr. Hatton. Won't tomorrow at my office?
No, it has to be tonight, Doctor. Tomorrow may be too late. Mario's Cafe in the village is a place of candlelight, wine, and wonderful food. And right now, two of Mario's favorite customers, having finished a late dinner, sip their coffee in blissful contentment, unaware of what awaits them on the cold, deserted, windswept street outside.
What time is it, darling?
It's almost 11:30.
We better go.
If I can move.
I warned you about that second helping of scallopines. Well, come on, let's not keep the nightmare waiting.
The nightmare?
The one you always have after we've eaten at Mario's.
Yeah. Wonder which one it'll be tonight. The one where I'm being strangled to death in a bowl of spaghetti, or the one where Mario's beating me over the head with a lasagna?
You just let me know, won't you?
Do it first thing in the morning.
Now, come on, Jerry. We're keeping Mario from closing up.
Here we go.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. North, are you leaving already?
It's pretty late, Mario.
No. How about one more cup of coffee, huh?
No thanks, Mario.
Couldn't swallow another thing.
Dinner was okay, huh?
It was perfect.
Mario, you know what you should do?
What, Mr. North?
Write a cookbook.
Jerry, that's a wonderful idea.
No, you're joking me, Mr. North. No, Mario, I mean it. Your recipe should be given to the world. And if you ever do write a book, you let the North Publishing Company publish it, understand?
Okay, Mr. North.
Good night, Mario.
Good night, good night, good
Good night, Mario.
Oh, golly, it's still raining.
Yeah, cats and dogs.
Where did you park the car?
Oh, around the corner. You better wait here in the doorway. No use both of us getting soaked.
All right, Jerry.
I'll be right back.
Jerry,
What?
look. Coming down the sidewalk. That woman.
What about it?
Well, look at her. No hat. She looks drenched and she's wandering along in a daze.
Oh, probably just a village character who's had one drink too many.
Here she comes. Darling, look. Wearing bedroom slippers and all the pajamas she has under her coat.
Yeah, that's a little weird, even for the village.
Jerry, there's something wrong with her.
That's for sure.
Well, what are we going to do? Just stand here and let her go wandering off?
Oh, now, please, Pam, let's not get involved in anything.
But there's something the matter with that woman, and we have to help if we can.
No, all right. Come on.
Oh, she's darting across the street.
Against the light.
Miss?
Oh, wait a minute, miss. We want to...
Jerry, that car! It's going to hit her!
Look out!
Stop it, Jerry! Oh, Jerry!
Okay, ma'am.
What if you hadn't pulled her back?
But I did, and she's all right.
Thank heaven.
Let's get her into Mario's.
What was the driver of that car trying to do? He must have seen her step into...
Darling, please, get back into Mario's.
All right, Jerry.
You're all right now, miss. You're okay.
Here, I'll get the door. Mario!
Let's sit down in this booth. Mario.
Yeah? Oh, Mr. and Mrs. North.
Sit down here, miss.
What's the matter, Mr. North? What's this?
We don't know.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
We don't know that either, Mario.
Get her some brandy, will you, Mario?
Sure, right away.
Oh, she's trembling like a leaf.
Can you blame her after a close call like that?
She must be soaked to the skin.
Here, Mr. North, this is the brandy.
Yeah, thanks. We better have some coffee, too, Mario.
I'll get some. We'll take just a minute.
Here, drink this.
No.
Come on, drink it. Here, Pam, make her take the rest of it. I'm going out to get the car. You find out who she is and where she lives, and we'll take her home.
All right, Jerry.
I'll be back in a minute.
Here, have some more brandy. Oh, please. Now finish it. Better? Yes, thank you. I'm all right now. I better go. Oh, no. You're going to sit right here and have some hot coffee, then my husband and I are going to take you home. No. I can't go. Why not? Because I want leave. Here, sit down. Let me go. But you can't go out there. Let go of me. No, you mustn't. Let go. Yes. Come back here. Come back, please. Come back. Don't I try tried to stop her. She slapped me and ran out.
Well, that's just strange. A woman to go out with just a coat over the pajamas, you know? That's crazy.
Crazy is right. Well, what the devil do you suppose is the matter with her?
She's frightened. That's what's the matter with her. Honestly, darling, when I mentioned taking her home, she looked scared to death.
Well, as long as we don't know who she is or where she lives, there's nothing more we can do. So let's go home, shall we?
All right, darling. I'll get my purse out of the booth.
Well, good night again, Mario.
Good night, Mr. Norton.
Jerry!
Yes, dear?
Come here.
What is it?
This picture postcard. It was lying on the seat here in the booth.
Well, let's see. Laura, darling, we'll be home Monday night. I love you and miss you, Wade.
Look at the address.
Mrs. Wade Hatton, 97 Colby Street, New York City.
Darling, do you suppose that woman could have dropped it? I remember that she took a handkerchief from her coat pocket when she first sat down. Might have come out of her pocket then.
Yeah, maybe. Well, any one of a lot of other people could have dropped it, too.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Isn't Colby Street down here in the village?
Oh, sure. That's just a couple of blocks over, Mrs. Norton.
Then come on, Jerry. If that woman was Mrs. Wade Hatton, we're going to find out why she was so afraid to go home.
Hello, Doctor. Good evening, Mr. Haddon. I hate to bother you at this time of night, Doctor, but I just have to talk to you. Come in. Thank you. In here, if you will. Yes. And sit down. Thank you. Well, now, what is this about Mrs. Hatton? Is there something wrong? Well, it's started again, Doctor. Yes. What has started again, Mr. Hatton? Laura's sleepwalking. She's doing it again. Oh. I didn't know anything about it until this morning. I've been in Cleveland for a week on business. Well, this morning, Laura's sister called me long distance and told me she saw Laura walking in her sleep last night. Well, she said Laura went into the kitchen, took a butcher knife from a drawer, and she hid it under the cushions of the sofa in the living room. Oh, go on. That's all I know right now. I got in from Cleveland by plane just a little while ago. Have you seen your wife? No, I came right up here. I wanted to talk to you first. Oh, I see. So Laura's sister telephoned to you in Cleveland? Yes. Is this the same sister with whom your wife was living at the time of her first breakdown? Yes, Evelyn Forbes. And she works for you, too, doesn't she? Well, for my partner, Frank Bates. And me, yeah. And look, Doctor, I remember what you told me when Laura came out of the sanitarium. That I was to get her as far as Evelyn as possible, but what, Mr. Hatton? Well, Doctor, that isn't possible. I can't tell you why, but it isn't. Not right now, anyway. Then can you tell me this much? How was it that Miss Forbes was able to see your wife walking in her sleep? Well, Evelyn's been living with us. Living? She moved into our apartment about 3 months ago. I advise you to get your wife away from her sister. Instead, the three of you start living together? Doctor, I tried to stop her. I didn't want her around, but I couldn't help myself. You couldn't refuse her? No. Why not, Mr. Well, I can't tell you that. Well, until you can, I'm afraid there's very little I can do for your wife. However, I'll make arrangements to see her. Let's say my office at 9 in the morning. Well, Laura, have to go back to the sanitarium. Oh, I couldn't possibly answer that question now, Mr. Hatton. But this business of Laura getting up and taking a night Hatton, when people walk in their sleep, they often do things that they want to do when they're awake, but are afraid to do. But why would she want to hide a knife? She doesn't want to hide it. She really wants to use it. But even in her sleep, she's afraid that she might use it. She feels guilty, and she doesn't trust herself. So she gets up and tries to hide the knife somewhere where even she can't find it, hiding the knife, as it were, from herself. Mr. Hatton, your wife sees her sister as a threat to her happiness. She believes her sister is in love with you, wants to take you away from her. I know. Is there any basis for your wife's fear? Well, Evelyn's in love with me. She's told me so. And are you in love with her? Oh, no, I love Laura. I'd do anything for her. Well, then do something about Miss Forbes, huh? Before your wife does.
at the house, Jerry.
Do you want to wait in the car?
Of course not. I'm coming with you.
Let's go.
Hurry, Jerry.
I'm coming.
There's some mailboxes right inside the door.
Let's have a look at them. Let's see. Williams, Borden, Elliott.
Here, Jerry, Hatton.
105.
Must be the first floor down that way.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah?
I've been thinking about the car that almost ran that woman down. Do you think the driver was deliberately trying to hit her?
Oh, now, wait a minute, Pam. Hold it. Put the brakes on that imagination wheel.
I'm not imagining anything. The driver must have seen her, and I think it's very strange he didn't even stop after such a close call.
Pam, dear, it was dark and it was raining, and the driver may not even have... Wait a minute. Hold it.
What's the matter?
This is 105, darling, and look.
The door's open. That's odd. Ring the bell, Jerry. Ring it again. Hello? Hello, is anybody home?
Apparently not.
Well, there must be somebody here, Jerry. People don't go off and leave the door open.
Well, evidently these people do.
Come on, darling.
Where?
Inside.
But now, hold it a second, Pam. We're not sure that woman is the one who dropped the postcard you found, and if she isn't, these Hatton people probably haven't anything to do with it.
Well, if they don't, they don't.
And if they don't, how do we explain being in their apartment?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Trouble of it is, dear, you always seem to burn our bridges behind us before we even get the chance to cross them.
Darling, will you stop arguing and come on?
Oh, okay. But just one quick look around, then we beat it.
There's nobody in here.
Then what are we whispering for?
Because... Oh, Jerry, no, you can be the most exasperating man. Oh, look, there's a light in that room. Let's look in there. Hello, is anybody... Oh, Jerry, look, on the bed. Oh, Jerry, she's dead.
With that knife in her back, yeah.
Be sure to join us again tomorrow evening for another exciting chapter in the mystery Nightwalk.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. North, brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. Mr. and Mrs. North, transcribed, starring Richard Denning and Barbara Britton. Listen to Pam and Jerry in Chapter 2 of the mystery Nightwalk.
And after you have some hot coffee, my husband and I will take you home. Why? No, I can't go home. Why not? Please, sit down. But you can't go back outside just the way you are. No, Miss, come back. Please come back.
It started out as such a pleasant evening for Pam and Jerry, and then the woman appeared. Hatless, only a coat over pajamas, walking the deserted rain-swept street in slippered feet. And then, a few moments later, she was gone.
And when I tried to stop her, Jerry, she pulled away from me and ran out.
The woman was gone, and Pam and Jerry had only a dropped postcard as a possible clue to where she had come from.
Come on, darling. We're going over to the address on this card and find out why that woman was so afraid to go home.
A postcard with an address. An apartment whose door stands open.
Hello? Is anybody... Oh, Jerry, look, on the bed. Darling, she's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry.
Easy, Pam.
That isn't the same woman, is it?
No.
Well, no wonder the woman Mario's acted so strangely when I said we would take her home. She must have known about this.
Yeah, apparently. Come on, let's find the telephone and call Bill Wagner.
Oh, there's the telephone, Jerry.
Laura? Oh. Laura, are you in... Who are you? What are you doing in here?
My name's North.
Mr. and Mrs. North. How did you get in here? Well, the door was open. We walked in. Why? What's going on? Where's Laura?
Take a look in the bedroom.
That's Evelyn's room.
Who's Evelyn?
My sister-in-law. Say, what the devil is all...
Evelyn. She's dead. She was stabbed in the back with a kitchen knife.
Laura.
What?
No. No.
Are you Wade Hatton?
Yes.
And Laura's your wife?
And you wrote her this postcard from Cleveland?
Where did you get that?
I think we'd better leave the questions to the police.
Call Bill Wyden, Jerry.
Who's Bill Wyden?
A friend of ours on the police force. Lieutenant Wyden. He's in homicide.
Who is it?
Laura.
Your name, Frank.
Laura, what in the name of heaven? Why are you running around dressed like that?
Oh, Frank. Something horrible has happened. Evelyn's dead.
What?
And I killed her.
You?
I must have. I don't remember, but I must have been the one.
Laura, snap out of it. Now. All right, tell me what happened.
I don't remember, Frank.
Well, all you do remember, tell me that.
All I know is that I went to bed about 10 or a little after. Evan was still up reading.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up about 11:15 or 11:20. I got up to get a drink of water. The light in the living room was out, but Evan's door was open and the light was on in her room. In her back. Well, I just lost my head completely, and I grabbed this coat of Evan's and ran out of the apartment.
Where did you go?
I'd just been wandering around. I almost got run over down the village.
Run over?
Yeah, a man and his wife pulled me back on the curb just in time. They took me into a restaurant and wanted to take me home, but I got away from them, and then... Well, then I decided to come here.
Well, thank heavens you did. Now, look, Laura, I know that you'd started walking in your sleep again. Evelyn told me about it at the office just today. She told me that last night she'd seen you hide a knife under the cushions of the sofa.
Last night? Well, why didn't she tell me?
You don't remember doing it?
No. Well, I'm sleepy. I can never remember anything they do. Dr. Prescott explained it all to me when I was in the sanitarium. But Evelyn should have told me.
She didn't want to upset you.
Upset me? All Evelyn's ever done since I married Wade has upset me. Frank, was Wade in love with Evelyn?
In love with her? Well, I don't know.
But you must know. You're Wade's partner. You, Evelyn and Wade were together all day, every day in the office. Well, you must have some idea.
But I don't, Laura. That's the truth.
Evelyn said he was. He said he loved her and wanted to marry her, but that he couldn't leave me until I became better adjusted. More stable.
Now, you didn't believe that, did you?
Oh, what was I supposed to believe? Why did Wade let her move in with us? Why did he run around at the office and at home 24 hours a day if he wasn't in love with her?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Wade was in love with her. I did know she was in love with him.
They went together before Wade and I were married.
Yes, I know.
And she never forgave me for taking him from her. And she was going to get him back no matter what she had to do. That's the way it was all our lives. With either Evelyn and me. He was selfish, cruel, and grasping. Ever since I can remember, I wanted to see her dead. To kill her, to cut her out of my life. And now I have.
Now, look, Laura. You know that Wade and I are more than business partners. I've been a friend of his for a long time. And I'm your friend. I'll do everything I can to help.
There's nothing anyone can do, Frank. They'll lock me up in a place for the criminally insane, and, well, that'll be that.
Now, just a minute, Laura.
You can't. Oh, but there's one thing I do want.
What's that?
I want to see Wade.
Well, his plane was due in from Cleveland at 10:45.
But he's home by now. He's found Evelyn.
Probably.
Well, then call him, will you, Frank? Tell him I'm here. Tell him I want to talk to him before I go to the police.
Medical examiner's all through, Lieutenant. You can take over in here any time.
Okay, Donnie, you'll be there in a minute. Now, go on, Mr. Hatton. You say your wife entered the sanitarium shortly after you married? Do I have to answer these questions now, Lieutenant? I'm afraid so, Mr. Hatton. What about Laura? Good Lord, she's wandering around the city somewhere. We'll find your wife. Now, about my question. Yes, Laura entered the sanitarium about 2 months after we were married. And the psychiatrist she consulted was a Dr. Prescott, Charles Prescott. His office is in the Phillips Building on 57th Street. Thanks. I want to talk to him.
Mr. Hatton, if Dr. Prescott warned you to get your wife away from her sister, why did you permit Miss Forbes to live here?
And dear, let's leave the questions to Bill, shall we? Oh, that's okay, dear. As a matter of fact, I was wondering the same thing myself. Well, what about it, Mr. Hatton? Well, I thought Laura was all over trouble. But weren't you rather disturbed when Miss Forbes called you in Cleveland this morning and told you about your wife hiding the knife? Well, of course. Well, then why didn't you return from Cleveland immediately? Why'd you spend the rest of the day there before coming home?
Well, I was there on business that I had to take care of. I couldn't leave.
And you were staying at the King William Hotel?
Yes.
And you arrived at Idlewild tonight at 10:45 and went directly to Dr. Prescott's home?
I've already told you yes.
And you didn't come home first? You weren't in this apartment tonight until you walked in and found Mr. and Mrs. North here.
What's the point of all this, Lieutenant? Do you think I'm lying?
Let me put it this way, Miss Hatton. I don't think you're being as honest as you could be.
What do you think I have to hide?
You can answer that better than I can, Mr. Hatton. Oh, Pam and Jerry, will you wait until after I've talked to Donahue? There may be some more questions I want to ask you. Sure, Bill.
Of course.
And you too, Hatton. Donahue.
Oh, yeah, Lieutenant?
Has the Emmy gone?
Yeah, just left. He said to tell you he'll have a preliminary report for you first thing in the morning.
Did you make any guess as to when she died?
Yeah. From the body temperature, figured about 2 hours ago.
That'd make it about 10:30.
Yeah.
And no sign of a struggle?
No, not a one, Lieutenant.
Well, that figures. Both the Forbes woman and Mrs. Hatton were asleep, but with one difference. Mrs. Hatton walked in hers. She got up, took a knife from the kitchen, came in here, and then... Oh, that's the phone, Donnie.
Yeah.
I'll take that, Hatton. Hello?
Wait.
Oh, this is the police.
Please. Is this Jefferson 84056?
That's right, the Hatton apartment.
Well, what's the police doing there?
I'll answer that when I find out who's asking the question.
Oh, well, this is Wade's business partner, Frank Bates.
Well, this is Lieutenant Wagon of Homicide.
Homicide?
Wade Hatton's sister-in-law was stabbed to death tonight.
What?
I want to talk to you sooner or later, Mr. Bates, and I'd appreciate it if you get over here as quickly as possible.
Well, of course, Lieutenant, right away. Is Wade there?
Yes?
Could I talk to him a moment?
Well, yes, I guess so. Hang on a minute. This is Frank Bates, Hatton. He wants to talk to you.
Oh, thank you, Lieutenant.
Hello, Frank.
Look, Wade, I've got something to tell you, and I'm going to talk fast. So you just keep quiet and listen, understand?
Yes.
Laura's here at my place. She's convinced she killed Evelyn, and she's going to give herself up to the police, but she wants to talk to you first. You can come back over here with me after we get through with the police.
All right.
Now, one more thing. Have you said anything to the police about Evelyn's little racket?
No.
Then that isn't what that lieutenant wants to talk to me about.
No?
Okay. Just be sure you keep on keeping your mouth shut about Evelyn, or we're both going to be up to our necks in trouble.
Get that, Donahue.
Yeah, okay, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Wagon?
No, Lieutenant's in the other room.
I'm Frank Bates.
Oh, come on in, Lieutenant's waiting for you. This is Frank Bates, Lieutenant.
Oh, hello, Lieutenant. Hello. Come in, Bates. Sit down. Thank you. Oh, how are you doing, Wade?
Okay, Frank.
That's a terrible thing. What exactly happened, anyway? We'll get around to that in a minute, Bates. Oh, look, Jerry, why don't you and Pam run along?
All right, if you don't think you'll be needing us anymore.
No, not tonight. I'll check with you in the morning.
All right, Bill. Good night.
Good night, Pam.
Good night, Mr. Hatton.
Good night.
Jerry, darling, what are you scowling about? I asked you what you were scowling about.
Oh, I was just thinking.
Well, don't make such a production of it. What about?
What about what?
What were you thinking about?
Oh, that guy Bates.
Oh, thank heaven, it stopped raining.
Yeah.
What about? What were you thinking about, Mr. Bates?
Did you notice that when Wade Hatton was talking to him on the telephone, Hatton didn't say a word about his wife?
Now that you mention it, he didn't, did he?
No. And when Bates walked into the apartment, he didn't seem to pay any attention to the fact that Laura Hatton wasn't there.
That's right.
He didn't even ask where she was.
Well, you should have said something to Bill.
Maybe so.
Well, should we go back in?
No. I'll talk to Bill in the morning. That'll be time enough.
All right, if you say so.
I want to get home. I'm dead.
So am I.
Hop in.
Jerry, wait.
What's the matter?
That car parked right ahead of us.
What about?
It's a green sedan. Darling, that's the car we tried to run down Laura Hatton.
Oh, now, Pam.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Pam, come back here. Pam! Oh.
Darling, the car's unlocked.
Now, Pam, stop it. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Why?
In the first place, darling, you're not sure the car that almost hit Laura Hatton was trying to run her down.
Well, no, but...
And in the second place, even if it was trying to kill her, do you have any idea how many green sedans there are in the city of New York?
Just like this one?
Exactly like this one.
Do you?
Thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions.
You're probably right.
Of course I'm right.
So even if that green sedan was deliberately trying to kill Laura Hatton, which I don't believe for a minute, the chances of this being the same car are 1 in a...
Jerry,
What?
this matchbook was lying on the seat.
Let's see. William Hotel, Cleveland, Ohio.
That's where Wade Hatton stayed in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Darling, maybe this isn't the car that almost hit Laura Hatton. And even if it was, maybe the driver wasn't deliberately trying to kill her. But there's one thing sure. If it is the car, and if it did try to run her down, then Wade Hatton tried to murder his own wife.
Be sure to join us again tomorrow evening for another exciting chapter in the mystery Nightwalk. Now, Mr. and Mrs. North, brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. Mr. and Mrs. North, transcribed, starring Barbara Britton and Richard Denning. Listen to Pam and Jerry in Chapter 3 of the mystery Nightwalk.
Who is it?
Laura, Frank.
Laura.
Let me in, Frank.
Laura, what is the name of heaven? Why are you running around dressed like that?
Oh, Frank, something horrible has happened. Evelyn's dead.
What?
And I killed her.
You?
I must have. I don't remember it, but I must have been the one. I killed her while I was walking in my sleep.
In Frank Bates' apartment, Laura Hatton sobs out her story. And in front of the Hatton apartment, meanwhile, Wade Hatton's modest green sedan is an object of attention. To the casual passerby, it's just another car, but not to Pam North.
It's a green sedan.
To Pam, Wade Hatton's car is more than just another car. Much more.
Jerry, that's the car that tried to run down Laura Hatton.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Pam, be reasonable about this thing. There are literally thousands of cars like this one in New York.
You've already said that, darling.
So I said it again. And I'm going to keep on saying it until you...
But, Jerry, all I'm saying is that if this is the same car, then Wade Hatton tried to kill his wife.
If, Pam, if...
Well, let's at least go back to the Hatton apartment and tell Bill about it.
We can talk to him in the morning, darling.
I want to talk to him now.
Pam, it's after 2 a.m. and Bill's busy. He's questioning Hatton and that partner of his, Frank Bates. And
We'll wait till he's through.
No, Pam.
Jerry.
No.
You're mean.
I'm not mean. I'm tired, dead tired. I've been up since 6 yesterday morning. Had a miserable day at the office yesterday, and I'm going to have another miserable one today. I want to go home and get to bed, because if I don't, Laura Hatton won't be the only one walking in her sleep tonight.
Incredible, Lieutenant. To think that Laura could have got up in her sleep, taken a knife from the kitchen, gone in and killed Evelyn. Well, I can't believe it.
Then let's suppose for a minute, Mr. Bates, that it's too incredible, that it couldn't have happened. Now, do you know of anyone else who might have had a reason to kill Evelyn Forbes?
No.
Mr. Hatton said Miss Forbes worked for the two of you.
Yes, as Wade probably told you, we're in the construction business, Bates and Hatton. Evelyn's worked for us for over 5 years. Wade and Evelyn went together for a little while until he met Laura.
Mr. Bates, can you think of anything that might have given Evelyn Forbes a hold on Wade Hatton?
A hold?
Anything she could have used to make him do something against his will or better judgment.
No, not a thing. What makes you ask?
I want to know why Hatton permitted Evelyn Forbes to live here with him and his wife, after he'd been told by a psychiatrist to get his wife away from her sister.
Well, did you ask Wade?
Yes, but I'm not satisfied with the answer I got. You have any ideas on the subject?
No. Frankly, I've wondered about it, too, and I thought it was a mistake. But I figured that was something between Wade, Laura, and Evelyn.
All right, Mr. Bates, I guess that'll be all. You can go now.
Oh, do you want to see me any more tonight, Lieutenant?
No, Mr. Hatton, no more than that.
I thought I'd take Wade home with me, Lieutenant.
That's a good idea. And I'll get in touch with you as soon as I have any news about your wife, Hatton.
Thank you. Good night, Lieutenant.
Good night.
Come on, Wade. Frank, how's Laura?
Is she all right?
Shut up, you fool. We can't talk here. Wait till we get out to the car.
What
am I going to do about Laura?
What can you do? Evelyn's dead. Laura killed her. Wagon thinks so. Too bad, but that's the way it is.
But it was my fault, Frank.
Oh, now, don't start that.
But it was. It's been my fault all along. I'm the one who got us into that Rapid River bridge deal that cost us our shirt.
Well, what has that got to do with Laura? We got another shirt, didn't we?
By cheating the government $80,000 in tax.
Well, it was the only way, wasn't it?
I was a fool to listen to you. I wish we'd have let that company go under.
Good Lord, will you stop beating yourself over the head? Those tax returns haven't anything to do with what happened.
They have everything to do with it, and you know it. From the minute Evelyn found out about those tax returns, something like this was bound to have happened. She had me hooked, and she knew it.
She had me hooked, too, don't forget.
But all she wanted from you was money.
Now, look, Wade. Come on. You think Evelyn was as much in love with you as you thought?
I don't think she was in love with me at all. I think she hated me. I know she hated Laura. Evelyn was the one who was sick. She was the one who should have gone to that sanitarium, not Laura. I realized that when she made me let her move in with Laura and me.
I'm sorry, Wade.
Oh, sure.
I mean it. I am. If I thought that tax business would have led to this, I never would have suggested it. But, well, it's too late now.
Is it? What do you mean? How much money do we have in the company account, Frank?
Why?
How much?
Well, about $25,000 or around there.
I want it. What? You heard me. I want it, all of it, every cent.
Well, what for?
Never mind what for. Just get it for me in cash, first thing in the morning.
Well, you seem to forget that half of that money is mine.
Not anymore, Frank. I'm taking your half.
Just like that?
Just like that.
No explanations, no nothing.
That's right.
And what if I don't get you the money?
I go to the government about our falsified tax returns. Evelyn was blackmailing us, Frank. Now I'm blackmailing you.
If you go to the government, you go to prison right along with me.
I know that. But after what happened to Laura tonight, there's one difference between you and me. I don't care. Now step on it. I want to see Laura. Where is she?
In the bedroom.
I want to see her alone.
Wait.
Well?
About the money. What are you going to do with it? I've got a right to know.
You'll find out. Laura? Laura, honey.
Wade.
Yeah.
Oh, Wade.
Oh, easy, honey, easy.
Oh, I've been waiting for you for so long.
I came as soon as I could.
Turn on the light.
Okay.
Wade, I had to see you once more. Alone. Before I went to the police.
You're not going to the police.
What?
We're going away.
Where?
I'm not sure yet. Somewhere out west, maybe. Somewhere where we can start over.
Oh, no, Wade.
Yes.
It won't work.
It will. Look, we'll even leave the country if we have to. Go to Mexico or to South America someplace. I'll have plenty of money, almost $25,000.
Where are you going to get it?
From the company. Frank and I have that much.
But that isn't your money.
It is now.
Frank is giving it to you?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Okay, it isn't true. Frank isn't giving me the money. I'm taking it. Look, honey, there's something you don't know, something I've never told you.
What?
3 years ago, while you were in the sanitarium, Frank and I got the bid to build a bridge upstate at Rapid River. Well, our bid was too low. It was my fault, I guess. I estimated the job, and by the time it was done, we'd lost almost $100,000.
Go on.
Well, we had to hang on to what cash we had or go broke. There was only one thing to do. Frank suggested it, and I went along.
What did you do?
We falsified our income tax returns. Not only for that year, but for the next two. We made up about $80,000 of what we'd lost.
Oh, wait.
It was the only thing to do, Laura. You were sick in a sanitarium. I had to have money. Anyway, I told Frank I want that money the company has, so I'll go to the government and tell them about the tax return.
Oh, I won't do it, Wade. I won't let you take that money.
Laura, darling, it's our only chance.
We've already had our chance. We had it and lost it when you let Evelyn come between us.
She didn't come between us.
Wade, were you in love with her?
Oh, no.
She said you were.
She was lying.
She said you were in love with her and wanted to marry her.
That's not true, Laura. I loved you. I've always loved you.
Then why did you let Evelyn stay with us?
Because she wanted to, and I couldn't say no.
Well, why not?
She knew what Frank and I had done about our taxes. She found out somehow about a year ago, and she started blackmailing us. But money wasn't all she wanted. She wanted to smash us, even if she had to get you sent back to the sanitarium to do it.
You knew that. Yes, you let her move in.
I couldn't help myself. She would have talked about those tax returns. I thought if I just had a little time, I could solve the problem somehow.
But instead, I'm the one who solved it by killing her.
Oh, Laura, don't, darling. Everything's going to be all right.
Evelyn's dead. I killed her, and you want us to spend the rest of our lives running and hiding. Is that your idea of everything being all right?
Oh, Laura, look, you're tired. Get some sleep. We'll talk about it in the morning.
Oh, there's nothing to talk about. I'm going to the police.
No, wait until morning. Promise me that, please.
Oh, all right.
Oh, good. Now, try to sleep.
Give me away.
Now, get some sleep. I'll turn on the light. Good night, darling. How is? Okay. Want a drink? No. I like it usually. Laura and I will be pulling out tomorrow as soon as we get the money.
Pulling out? Where are you going?
Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Look, Wade, don't be a sap. The cops are combing this town for Laura. You won't be able to get her as far as the Holland Tunnel. And even if you do get out of town, they'll grab her sooner or later.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Oh, there's no maybe about it. They will. So why put yourself on a spot like that? You won't be helping Laura or yourself.
Let me worry about that. All you've got to worry about is getting me the money out of the bank in the morning. Let me tell you something, Frank. Don't get any ideas about calling the police and telling them where they can find Laura. Because if you do and she's caught, you're on your way to prison.
More coffee, darling?
Oh, a little.
Is there anything in the newspaper about Evelyn Forbes' murder?
No. Guess it happened too late last night to make the morning edition.
I'll answer it.
Oh, good morning, Pam.
Bill, come in.
Thanks. Who is it, Pam?
Bill Wygand. Come into the dining room, Bill. Have a cup of coffee.
I could stand a cup. I've been up all night. Hiya, Bill. Hello, Jerry.
Oh, could I fix you some breakfast, Bill?
No, thanks, Pam. Just coffee. I got the message that you wanted to talk to me, so I thought I'd stop in on my way to headquarters. What's in your mind?
Well, Pam has a crazy idea that Wade Hatton tried to kill his wife last night.
What?
It isn't a crazy idea. Bill, you remember we told you that we pulled Laura Hatton out of the path of a car last night?
Yes.
Well, what I didn't tell you was that I thought the car was deliberately trying to hit her.
Well, what makes you think that?
Oh, nothing makes her think it, Bill. It's entirely voluntary on her part.
Oh, now you shush, Jerry. And that isn't all, Bill. The car that almost hit Laura Hatton was a green sedan. A car exactly like the one that Wade Hatton owns.
Well, how do you know what kind of a car Hatton owns?
Oh, there was a green sedan parked outside his apartment last night, and we found this on the front seat.
A matchbook from the King William Hotel in Cleveland.
The hotel Wade Hatton said he stayed at in Cleveland. And here's the license number of the car.
Well, I'll check it with motor vehicle registration and find out if it really is Hatton's car. Well, even if it is, Bill, it doesn't prove a thing. As a matter of fact, I just thought of something that proves the car that almost hit Laura Hatton couldn't have been Hatton's car. Or at least it couldn't have been Hatton driving it. Oh, what's that? Well, it was almost 11:30 when we saw Mrs. Hatton outside Mario's last night. So, well, Hatton didn't get into Idlewild from Cleveland until 10:45, and it would certainly take him 45 minutes to get from the airport down to the village.
Darlings, I guess you're right, darling.
Of course I'm right, except for one thing, Jerry. What? Wade Hatton didn't get in from Cleveland at 10:45. I checked it. Hatton was lying. He was on an earlier plane, one that landed at LaGuardia at 8:30. Be sure to join us again tomorrow evening for another exciting chapter in the mystery Nightwalk. Now, Mr. and Mrs. North, brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. Mr. and Mrs. North, transcribed, starring Richard Denning and Barbara Britton. Listen to Pam and Jerry in Chapter 4 of the mystery Nightwalk.
Now, just a minute, Wade. You're forgetting that half of that $25,000 in the company account is mine.
Not anymore, Frank. I'm taking your half.
What do you want it for?
Never mind what for. Just get it for me in cash first thing in the morning.
Just like that, huh?
Just like that.
No explanations, no nothing.
That's right.
But if I don't get you the money,
I go to the government about our falsified tax return. Evelyn was blackmailing us, Frank. And now I'm blackmailing you.
The long night is over. Evelyn Forbes lies in the morgue. Laura Hatton sleeps fitfully in the midtown apartment of Frank Bates. And in those long moments when she lies awake in the darkness, she can still hear Wade's voice.
You're not going to the police station. Here, we're going away, Laura. Somewhere out west, maybe. Somewhere where we can start over.
And at 24 St. Anne's Place in Greenwich Village, the bright and cheerful apartment of Pam and Jerry North is chilled by the shadow of one murder committed and another attempted.
But why, Bill? It doesn't make sense. Why in the devil would Hatton try to kill his wife?
Well, the fact that he lied about the time he got back from Cleveland doesn't prove he did try to kill her.
No, and I still say it's probably just coincidence that his car and the one that almost hit his wife look alike.
And I still say it's just too much of a coincidence for me to swallow, especially after he lied about what time he got back into town last night.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Pam. But as you say, Jerry, it just doesn't make sense. Now, why would Hatton try to run his wife down?
Well, maybe Laura Hatton can answer that when you find her.
If we find her.
Bill, is it possible that Laura Hatton didn't kill her sister?
Anything's possible, Pam, but on the face of it, it looks pretty open and shut.
Now, what ideas running around loose in that pretty little head of yours, darling?
Well, Bill said that Evelyn Forbes was killed about 10:30.
10:15 at the earliest, according to the medical examiner.
And Wade Hatton was in town at 8:30.
Are you suggesting that he killed Evelyn Forbes?
Well, he was lying for some reason.
Look, you two. We're asking one another a lot of questions we can't answer. What do you say we ask the man who can answer them?
Wade Hatton?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want us to come with you?
If you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll get my hat.
Do you want some more coffee, Laura?
No, thanks.
Did you...
Oh.
Why don't you try to get some more?
Oh, Wade, let's call the police. Let's get it over with.
No.
I'm not going to go away with you, Wade.
Laura, you promised you wouldn't decide.
But I have decided. Oh, Wade, don't you realize what I did? I killed Evelyn.
Laura.
I walked in my sleep and I killed her. I'm insane. I'd have to be to do a thing like that. And even if we could run away, even if the police didn't catch me, how could I be sure that I wouldn't do something like this again?
You wouldn't.
How do you know?
Because Evelyn's out of our lives. She's gone. She's dead. No, that's going to let you give yourself up, Laura. You're coming away with me.
Why are you doing this for me, Wade?
Why? Because I love you.
You're not afraid for me to go to the police, are you?
Afraid? I don't understand.
Well, Wade, a couple of times in the night, lying here, I had a feeling that I hadn't killed Evelyn, that I couldn't have.
Go on.
And there was something else, another feeling. It's as if I could just remember something.
Remember what?
I don't know.
What do you want, Frank?
Come out here.
Okay. I'll be right back, honey. You sure you don't want some more coffee?
No.
Huh? Then I'll take your cup.
Wait.
Okay, coming. Well, Lieutenant Wagon and those people who found Evelyn just got out of a police car out in front. Now, look, Wade, give it up. No. But that lieutenant may know Laura's here. How could he know? Well, I don't know, but... Oh, there they are. Wade, in the name of heaven... Shut up. Wade, shut up. Now, shut up and listen, Frank. If you breathe one word about Laura being here, you're dead. I mean it. Now, open the door. Morning, Mr. Bates.
Lieutenant Wagon, come in.
Thank you. You know Mr. and Mrs. Norris? Sure. Hello. Morning, Haddon. Hi. I have a few more questions I'd like to ask you, Haddon. Sure. Where's your car? My car? Oh, why, it's parked in front of my apartment. I came over here last night with Frank. Do you drive a green sedan? Yes.
License number 3Y2037?
Yes.
Were you driving your car last night, Mr. Hatton?
Last night? Why, no. You're sure of that? Well, of course I'm sure. So what's all this about? Your wife was almost struck down by a car last night, Haddon. What? When?
When we saw her outside of Mario's Cafe down in the village.
Just a couple of blocks from your apartment.
And according to Mrs. North, the car that nearly hit her was a green sedan of the same make and model as yours. Well, I still don't see what you're getting at. Well, Mrs. North is of the opinion that the driver of the car was deliberately trying to run down your wife. That's insane. Well, why would anybody try to run... We thought you could answer that question, Hatton. You think it was my car? Same make, same model, same color. Now, if it wasn't, it's quite a coincidence, isn't it? And that's exactly what it is. I haven't touched my car for over a week. Not since I went to Cleveland. And how do you account for this? What? This book of matches from the King William Hotel in Cleveland.
My husband and I found them on the seat of your car.
If you didn't drive your car last night after you got back from Cleveland, how did they get there?
Well, Hatton?
It's possible, Lieutenant, that those matches could have been in the car for quite a while. Wade's been to Cleveland several times recently, and, well, you've always stayed at the King William, haven't you, Wade?
Yes. Yes, those matches are probably some I picked up on one of my other trips. Good Lord, I love Laura. I wouldn't do anything to hurt her. All right, Hatton. But I'm going to have to ask you to come along with me anyway. Where? To headquarters. Why? I want to know why you said you got in from Cleveland at 10:45 when actually you arrived at 8:30. And you seem to have a great deal to hide, Hatton.
What was that address again, Mick? 437, driver. The Graysonville.
I got you, Mick.
Golly, Jerry, I wish you'd have let us go down to headquarters with Bill.
Now, Pam, dear, I have more important things to do than tag around after Bill all day. And so have you.
All I'm going to do is go shopping.
Well, then in your case, I'm wrong. In the middle of this box, driver. Okay, Mac.
Could I meet you somewhere for lunch, Jerry?
No, I'm sorry, darling, but I'm tied up.
Hey, Mac.
See you at home this evening.
All right. Bye.
Oh, what the lady?
Quinlan's department store.
I got you.
I was listening to you mention to your husband about lunch. If you're ever down around 33rd and 3rd around noon, you try a spot called the Bluebird Cafe. Pal of mine runs it. Well, it's not the store for 21, you understand, nothing fancy. But if you should just happen to want the best pastrami sandwich you ever sank a soda till you try that joint. And only 2 bits. I'm telling you, a pastrami sandwich that big for just only 2 bits.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, that's the way this pal of mine is. He's not profiteering, you know what I mean? Gives the customer a square shake. You take how it is now with coffee, for instance.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. You know most joints charge a dime now?
Coffee.
This pal of mine still serves a cup of java as big as a bird's house for a jitney.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what, lady.
Oh, what's been bothering me?
Lady, I got you. I know just what you mean. The way the price of java's been...
No, I mean in front of this apartment. 3 cups and only 2 people. Driver, turn around.
Where do you want to go now?
That's the apartment house where you picked up my husband and me.
You want to go right back where you started from?
Yes, and hurry.
Okay, I got you, lady. Well, come to think about it, have I?
Laura?
Yes, sir.
May I come in?
Yes. Who was that out there?
Lieutenant Wigan. He took Wade down to headquarters with him.
Why?
Well, I'm afraid Wade's in trouble, Laura. The lieutenant thinks the car that almost hit you last night was Wade's.
Wade?
And that Wade may have been trying to kill you.
What? Oh, but that isn't true. It can't be true.
I don't believe it either. It must be some sort of a mistake, but... Well, the fact is that Wade's hiding something.
Something more than the false tax return?
So he's told you about that?
Yes.
Yes, it's something more than that. He lied to the police about what time he arrived from Cleveland last night. He told them 10:45. Actually, he was back in town at 8:30.
Why should he lie?
That's what the police want to know. Now, probably I shouldn't be telling you all this, but we might just as well face it. We're all on the spot.
And I put it there.
You couldn't help it. I have to go to the bank and get the money Wade wants.
Oh, that won't be necessary, Frank. I'm not going away with Wade. You won't have to give him the money.
I'm afraid it isn't as simple as that, Laura.
What do you mean?
If you give yourself up,
Wade will talk about those tax returns.
Oh, but why should he?
He has some crazy idea that it would be his form of penance for what he did to you when he let Evelyn move in with you. So for his sake, as well as mine and yours, don't do anything foolish. I won't be gone long. You'll be sure to be here when I get back.
All right, Frank.
Good girl.
I'll be here. I probably should have called Jerry or Bill first, but well, I'm here now. Oh, where could he have gone?
You looked in for Mr. Bates, miss?
Yes.
Well, he's not in. Seen him go out, 5-10 minutes ago.
Are you sure?
What'd you say?
I asked if you were sure.
I'm positive.
Are you the superintendent of the building?
How's that?
Are you the superintendent?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, may I talk to you for a moment?
Oh, I didn't get that.
May I talk to you?
Why, surely, miss. What about?
Well, please, would you turn off your vacuum cleaner so I won't have to shout? I asked you to turn off. Thank you.
Well, that makes a good deal of racket, don't it?
Yes.
Must be a loose part or something in that. I'll have to take it all apart one of these days to see. Of course, maybe all it needs is just a squirt of oil. Well, what can I do for you?
Oh, my name is Mrs. North.
I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Sneeden. Al Sneeden.
How do you do? I know you'll think this is an unusual request, but could you let me into Mr. Bates' apartment?
What for?
Well, my husband and I came up to see Mr. Bates a little while ago, and when I left, I forgot something.
What?
Well, it was some papers. Some very important papers, and I need them right away.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I guess you'll just have to wait till Mr. Bates gets back.
That might not be for hours.
Yes, that's right. That might not be.
Please, Mr. Sneeden, I must have those papers immediately. It'll be worth $5 to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
10.
10? Well, I don't know. You sure you're telling the truth?
Oh, yes.
You don't seem too sure. Of course, I guess if I should go in with you now, it...
What's the matter?
Smell something?
No, anything. No. Yes, it's gas.
Why, that sure is. Yes, that's gas all right, and it's coming from Mr. Bates' apartment.
Be sure to join us again tomorrow evening for another exciting chapter in the mystery Nightwalk. Jerry and Bill Wygant arrived with some questions of their own, and Wade Hatton was taken to headquarters to answer them. Then, later, during a discussion of the high price of a cup of coffee with a talkative cab driver, it suddenly occurred to Pam the thing that was bothering her, something she had seen in Frank Bates' apartment.
3 cups and only 2 people. Driver, turn around.
And 10 minutes later, she is outside the door of Frank Bates' apartment, pleading with the building superintendent to let her go inside.
Well, all right. I guess it'd be okay if I should go in with you just to me.
What's the matter?
You smell something?
Smell something?
Yes.
No. Yes, it's gas.
Why, that sure is. That's gas, all right. That's coming from Mr. Bates' apartment.
Oh, golly, unlock the door.
It must have gone off and left that stove going.
Please, unlock the door.
Well, now, don't get so excited. Little gas ain't going to hurt nothing.
Oh, will you please hurry?
Okay. Now, let's just see. I got the
Come on, don't be so slow.
Here we are. This is the key.
Oh, please.
Now, we'll have it in a minute.
Hurry.
There. There we are.
What is it, Chester?
That's right. This way. This way here. Well, what the dickens is...
I was right. He was here.
Who is she?
What happened? Turn off the gas.
Yeah, I got it.
Now, open the window.
I should say.
Hurry.
It's stuck.
Oh, get it open. Break it. Do anything.
Okay.
Now let me get it over to the fresh air.
Okay. Just let me get a hold under her shoulders.
That's it. Now get to the phone. Call an ambulance.
Is she dead?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Where's the waiting room?
Right across the hall.
Right.
Jerry! Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
All right. Now take it easy, darling. Now, what's this all about?
Didn't you read my message?
Well, darling, you were so excited that you got my secretary so excited that your message suffered terribly in the translation. All I was able to get out of it was that Laura Hatton was in the West Side Emergency Hospital. She tried to commit suicide, and you were here with her.
Bill's here now, too, and so is Wade Hatton. They're in her room with her now.
Well, will you please tell me what happened?
Laura Hatton tried to kill herself.
I know that much already. How?
By turning on the gas in Frank Bates' apartment.
And you found her?
Yes.
And just exactly what were you doing back at Bates' apartment?
Well, after you got out of the taxi, the driver started talking about coffee, telling me about a place where you could still get a big cup of coffee for a nickel, you see?
No, but go on.
Well, that started me thinking.
About coffee?
No, about what I'd seen in Frank Bates' apartment.
Oh.
So naturally, I went back there.
Naturally.
And I was absolutely right.
Of course you were, darling. But about what?
That Laura Hatton was there.
I have a strong feeling that I ought to go out and come back in again, but I'll invest in one more question. How did the taxi driver, talking about where you could still get a big cup of coffee for a nickel, start you to thinking so that naturally you went back to Frank Bates' apartment where you were absolutely right and found Laura Hatton was trying to kill herself?
I saw 3 cups.
Well, that explains everything.
Jerry, if you'll just listen. When we were there with Bill, I saw 3 cups of coffee on the table. And in the taxi, it came to me. Why should there be 3 cups when only Frank Bates and Wade Hatton were supposed to be there?
And so you went barging back to Bates' apartment on your
Oh,
own?
please, Jerry, don't give me the dickens about that. Bill's already giving you bawling out.
Good for him.
Oh, here's Bill now.
Hello, Jerry. Oh, hi, Bill.
How's Mrs. Hatton, Bill?
She's going to be all right.
Oh, thank goodness.
Where's Hatton? I left him in there with her. I figured I might as well give him a few minutes alone. It'll be the last. Did you talk to Mrs. Hatton? Yeah. Find out anything new? All I need to find out, she confessed to killing her sister.
Confess?
Mm-hmm. She's going to give me a complete statement later.
But, Bill, how could you confess?
What do you mean, Pam?
Well, I knew she killed Evelyn Ford because she was walking in her sleep. She didn't know what she was doing, not consciously anyway.
Oh, but she did, Pam.
What?
That's why she can confess. She admits that the sleepwalking was just a hoax.
A hoax?
She wasn't walking in her sleep when she killed her sister. She was wide awake. She knew exactly what she was doing.
But why, Laura? Why did you tell Lieutenant Wigan you knew what you were doing when you killed Evelyn?
Do you realize what that means?
It means I'll go to the electric chair instead of to a prison for the criminally insane.
Well, then, why, Laura, did you tell him that?
I told him the truth, Wade.
You didn't. You lied to him. I want to know why.
I told him the truth. I was awake when I killed Evelyn. I knew exactly what I was doing.
Laura, that's not
What
true.
difference does it make? There's only one thing I want, Wade. I want to die. I want to die.
But you're not going to die.
Wade, will you leave me alone?
Laura.
Leave me alone!
You're going to live, Laura. Because I want you to live.
Do you?
You know I do.
And I know that Lieutenant Wigan suspects that it was your car that almost hit me last night. Frank told me. So if you really want me to live, why did you try to kill me?
Would you like for us to give you a lift anywhere, Bill? Oh, thanks, Jerry, but I'm going to have to stay here at the hospital. A man from the district attorney's office is coming to get Laura Hatton's statement.
And what about Wade Hatton, Bill? Are you holding him?
No. Then you don't think it was Hatton's car that almost hit his wife? I don't know. Hatton sticks to his story. Says he hasn't driven the car since before he went to Cleveland. Now, that book of matches you found from the Kingdom Hotel were there from a previous trip. Well, he may be lying, but I haven't any way of proving it.
Could somebody else have been driving his car, Bill?
He says no, his wife didn't drive. He has the only set of keys. Well, I guess there's nothing more you can do then. Come on, Pam, let's...
Oh, Lieutenant?
Oh, Hatton, come on in.
If you're through with me, I'd like to go home.
All right, Hatton.
Mr. North and I are driving down your way, Mr. Hatton. Could we give you a lift?
Oh, thanks, Miss North.
Now, let's go. We'll see you, Bill. Right.
Bye, Bill.
Go on, Pam. The car's right down in front.
Oh, Mr. Hatton.
Yes?
There's a telephone call for you. You can take it in that booth over there.
Oh, thanks.
Go ahead, Hatton. We'll wait.
Hello?
Wait, this is Frank. I just got home and the building superintendent told me about Laura. How is she?
Okay.
What are you going to do, Wade?
I haven't decided yet.
Wade, listen. When you come to your senses, it won't do Laura any good to go to the government about those tax returns.
No. But it might do me some good.
It'll mean prison 5 years at least.
I know that.
Then listen to me. If it's the money you want, you can have it. I've got it right here, a little over $24,000 in cash.
It won't do any good now.
Wade, don't do anything until I see you, until I talk to you.
Forget it, Frank. There's nothing more to talk about.
Go on, Mrs. Hatton.
Well, when Evelyn told me Wade loved her and wanted to marry her, I made up my mind I was going to kill her.
You were convinced that she was telling the truth about your husband being in love with her?
Well, I don't know whether I was or not. It didn't matter. I knew that sooner or later, somehow, some way, she'd see to it that I lost Wade. All our lives, she'd taken things from me. You didn't know, Evelyn. What she wanted, she got. But I wasn't going to let her have Wade.
All right. Now, let's get down to last night.
I went to bed early, about 10. I laid awake until I was sure that Evelyn was in bed and asleep.
What time was that?
Or about 11. Then I got up, took a knife from the kitchen, went into Evelyn's room, and stabbed her.
And then, after being so cool and deliberate about killing your sister, you suddenly lost your head and became so panic-stricken that you ran out of the apartment without even dressing, just threw a coat over your pajamas?
Yes.
Now, let's have the truth, Mrs. Hatton.
I've told you the truth.
No, Mrs. Hatton, this statement of yours has been fiction from beginning to end.
No.
You didn't consciously kill your sister.
I did.
And your statement proves it.
No.
You say you killed your sister at 11. But we know from the medical examiner's report that she was dead for a half an hour to 45 minutes before that time.
Hide! What difference does it make how I killed her?
Makes a great deal of difference in what happens to you.
I don't care what happens to me.
Maybe not, Mrs. Hatton. Just because you've lost the will to live, the state of New York isn't going to help you kill yourself.
Why don't you come home to dinner with Mr. North and me?
Oh, thanks, Mr. North, but I'd better go home.
We'd love to have you.
I'm afraid I'm not in the mood for dinner. Oh, Mr. North.
Yes?
Do you think Lieutenant Wigan really believes Laura knew what she was doing when she killed Evelyn?
Sometimes it's hard to tell exactly what Bill's thinking, Hatton.
He can't believe it. It isn't true.
Then why did your wife confess?
Oh, for the same reason she tried to commit suicide. She'd rather go to the electric chair than be locked up for the rest of her life.
You think that's the only reason?
Well, what do you mean?
Your wife knows about the car that almost hit her last night, doesn't she? That it was a car exactly like yours?
Yes.
Does she believe it was yours?
Yes.
That's what I mean, Hatton. You haven't given her very much to live for. Not when she thinks the man she loved tried to kill her.
But I didn't.
You what?
Look, I know what has happened is my fault. I shouldn't have gone off and left Laura alone.
That's just one of the things you shouldn't have done, Hatton. You shouldn't have let your sister-in-law come into your home in the first place.
I know, but everything would have worked out if I hadn't had to make that trip, if I hadn't had to leave Laura. If I'd been here when Evelyn tried to tell Laura that I didn't love her. I didn't want to go, but I knew I shouldn't leave Laura, but I had to. It was the first time since she'd come out of the sanitarium that I'd left her alone, but I had to take the chance that nothing would happen.
But it did. Here you are, Hatton.
Thanks for the list.
Don't mention.
Just a minute, Mr. Hatton.
Yes?
You just said that this was the first time you'd left your wife since she came out of the sanitarium. That was over a year ago, wasn't it?
Well, yes.
Then you've been lying to Lieutenant Wigan about something else, haven't you?
Oh, what do you mean?
You said the book of matches from the King William Hotel in Cleveland couldn't have been left in your car last night because you didn't drive it. You said they must have been from a previous trip, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're not going to try to tell us that those matches have been in your car for a year, are you, Mr. Hatton? Well, Mr. Hatton?
No.
than they were left in there last night. You did drive your car after you got back from Cleveland. It was your car that almost killed your wife.
Yes, it was my car. And I was driving it.
Mr. and Mrs. North, transcribed, starring Richard Denning and Barbara Britton, comes to you each weekday night, Monday through Friday, at this same time. Mr. and Mrs. North is based on the characters originally created by Francis and Richard Lockridge. Be sure to read the story about Francis and Richard Lockridge in the current issue of McCall's magazine. Mr. and Mrs. North is written for radio by Ken Field, with music by Del Castillo, and is a John W. Lupton production. Be sure to join us again Monday evening for another exciting chapter in the mystery Nightwalk. Art Ballinger speaking.
For the CBS Radio Network.